Well, the definitive Harry Potter simulator has finally released, but not everything's super obvious for you. There's stuff that you're going to have to figure out on your own, stuff you're going to have to find on your own, or watch the rest of this video. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 things Hogwarts Legacy doesn't tell you. So let's get right into it. Number 10, how to learn the dark arts. One of the big selling points pre-release was that you can take a dark path and learn the dark arts, something only normally used by the bad guys. Eventually you get the chance to learn these sinister spells, but they're not part of the main story, and so it's possible to just miss them. Or if you're not interested in becoming a Grey Jedi, wizard, you can just choose not to learn them. Plug those ears and do the Jim Carrey gif. Ah, there it is. Good stuff. If you do want to take a trip on the dark side, play through any Sebastian Sallow side quest. When they pop up, like they start appearing after the main story mission in the Shadow of the Estate, which you get around the midpoint of fall. After the quest, Sebastian eventually contacts you with a follow-up called In the Shadow of the Bloodline. You complete that one, and you're on your way to learning the dark arts. Remember, the dark arts stuff is all side quests. It is not main quests. If Sebastian wants you to do something as part of the main story, it probably has nothing to do with dark arts spells. We'll give you the option to not learn the spell. That's not a bluff. You can pick the dialogue option where your character says, I don't want to learn that, and you don't learn it. So you can do these side quests and still walk out like a good and pure wizard boy. But if you're doing these quests to learn this stuff, pay attention, because your dialogue choices actually really matter. If you can make a save before any dialogue options come up, that's good. I would do that. And be careful how you respond. So there's no mechanical consequences for using the dark side of the Force as a pathway to many abilities some consider unnatural. But there are actually some story repercussions, especially in Sebastian's questline, so keep that in mind. If you want to roleplay a goody two-shoes, you probably don't want to learn these spells. But if you want to be a huge, awesome badass, like if you want to play Harry Potter Unleashed, sorry about all the Star Wars jokes, but man, they work well here, then completing Sebastian's side quests is how you get those spells. At number 9, crafting healing potions. Hogwarts Legacy is actually kind of surprisingly challenging on normal. Like, the enemies can and will mess you up. And when the game starts, the money is pretty tight. So the fact that you're going to want to go through healing potions pretty quick, and the fact that you get missions and assignments where they're telling you to go spend money somewhere, makes it quite convenient that you can actually craft your own healing potions. So the ingredients you need for healing potions are dittany leaves and horklump juice. The dittany leaves are easy to get. You get the seeds for them right at the start, and you can grow them at any potting station. Horklump juice doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well, nor is it as easy to come by. You primarily find it in caves, dungeons. You can probably find 2 or 3 in any given cave. But with how many potions you may be going through, that's probably not enough to keep you stocked up. So if you really want to load up on horklump juice, let me tell you how to do it. There's a cave north of Hogwarts near the Upper Hogsfield fast travel point called Horklump Hollow. There's 11 pieces of horklump in this relatively short dungeon. Certainly what we would consider a decent haul compared to most other dungeons. But if you wait around for 3 in-game days, all the resources respawn, so you just run through the same cave again, get another 11 horklumps. Also, you can wait by opening up the map, press the right stick down on R3 for a PlayStation controller, and you wait from day to night. So you do 6 or 7 times, resources are all back, go get horklumped up. So you max out the amount of potion and plant crafting stations that you can build in the Room of Requirement, and you'll max out on healing potions in no time flat. Well, sometime, but not the amount of time that it would take for you to earn money and buy them. At number 8, if money is your thing, there's a trick to making it much faster, and it's called poaching. So you'll find that some parts of this game are pretty anti-poaching, but if you want to make a bunch of money, sure, you can get some gold from opening chests, you can sell gear, you'll occasionally get money from quests. It's not what I would call significant amounts of money. That is reserved for these white chest things with a big eyeball on top. Once you have the disillusionment spell, super easy, you get 500 gold. Great stuff. That's way more than you get from pretty much any other activity in the game, game, but even though once you get the invisibility cloak and the disillusionment spell, this is a nice little windfall of cash for you, they are finite. If you really want a nice, consistent money-making option, what you gotta do is go full poacher, okay? You eventually unlock the ability to rescue creatures in this game, and they're the only truly farmable resource in the game. This game, yes, is always gonna keep telling you that poaching is bad and that you should rescue animals. Poaching makes you some sweet coin, okay? It's simple. You go to a beast spot on the map, grab every beast you can catch. Now you just take those animals you quote-unquote rescued from their natural habitat and sell them on the open market. That's the basic trick. You catch a lot of animals and you sell them. And you know what? They all sell for the same amount, 120 gold. So it does not matter what beast you poach. So stick to the easy ones. Don't bother with the difficult ones. Find a bunch of puffskins and purple toads and steal them from their homes. There are beast hunting spots all over the place, and they all respawn eventually, so you can capture dozens of these things in a couple of minutes. Once you got all you're gonna get, sell them at the beast store in Hogsmeade, and wow, are you gonna be loaded with cash. Depending on how tied to the game's morality you are, you might feel dirty doing it, but I feel no guilt. These are not real animals. Checkmate, morality. At number 7, do not underestimate stealth, right? So they did not emphasize stealth pre-release. They told us it existed, and that's pretty much it. So you might think, it's going to be situational at best, but that's not the case. Hogwarts Legacy actually has great stealth, maybe even a little overpowered. You can use it pretty much everywhere, and as long as you're fighting dark wizards or goblins, it's pretty damn effective. The main thing you need to do to get the most out of it is to invest 2 talent points in the stealth tree and make it so enemies no longer detect you. With those 2 talents, enemies barely notice until you're standing right in front of them, and even then, a lot of the time you're able to take them out before they're able to do anything. Once you get used to how detection works, you'll be clearing out groups of enemies in no time, and even better, stealth works even against named boss types. So you can kill these guys instantly like any other enemy as long as you're able to get close enough to them. Like, look at this footage. Seriously, in a lot of situations, it's actually faster to clear out a camp using stealth than it is to fight directly. Even in parts where it seems like the game wants you to get caught, most of the time, stealth still works. It does kind of neuter the challenge of certain parts of the game, but if you're getting sick of fighting or just want to speed things along, sneaking is your tool. It's also never not funny seeing a petrified enemy just flop on the ground. Like, look at this. That's funny. Plop. Oops. Guess you should have been more aware of your surroundings. Ha! At number 6, you can actually access the southern part of the map right from the beginning. I don't know if I'm just clueless or if other people thought this too, but I just assumed the bottom part of the map was locked until you finished a quest or something. The thing is, you can't just fly there. If you try to jump on a broomstick and go over the mountains, you'll hit an invisible wall. And at a certain point in the game, you do have to go down there to do some quests, and that's when people will probably find that there is an underground passage you can go through in this big mining camp. You do not have to wait until winter to access this passage. It's there. Once you get the open world, you can go back there and access all the towns and challenges down there. I started up a new game just to check, and even though it takes a while to get down there, the doors are open. It's interesting that they don't really make it clear how to get to the southern section of the map. They just kind of leave it to the players to figure out a passage by themselves. There's a few enemies that block the way, but you can pretty easily stealth by them. They're about as aware as every other enemy in the game, so, sneak. At number 5, the fastest way to the demiguise statues. Alohomora is an important spell you'll learn at the start of fall. It is an unlocking spell, which is used to open up numerous locked doors and chests you find in the game. You learn it from Mr. Moon in the quest The Caretaker's Lunar Lament, which is also where you learn about one of the major collectibles in the game, the demiguise statues. These things probably wouldn't be too big of a deal, but here's the problem. You have to collect them if you want to upgrade the unlocking spell, Alohomora, to level 2 and 3. You eventually have to unlock it to at least level 2, so even if you don't care about unlocking every door in the game, you still need Alohomora of that. Great joke. Good job, Falcon. So for level 2, you got to collect 9 moons, cost another 13 for level 3, which means you got to find 22 of these 30 demiguise statues in order to get the most use out of them for the unlocking spell. Unfortunately, there's no cannon to unlock in the Hogwarts courtyard for getting all 30 of them, and I'm pretty sure Yoshi's not walking around on the top of Hogwarts to talk to and get 100 lives. But hey, the better unlocking spells, good stuff, right? Actual easiest way to get all these statues is you go to random towns in the open world, pretty much every one of them has a demiguise statue. And if you have the upgraded version of Revelio, they become quite the cinch to find. There's a total of 11 in these villages, so if all you want to get is the rank 2 for unlocking, you can just go around and collect them from the villages. And thank you very much for playing my game. And number 4 is a little trick to speed up lockpicking. Lockpicking minigames can be quite the drag, especially in this game where there's locks all over the place. So once you get the unlocking spell, you're probably going to be staring at the little lockpicking screen a lot. At first, trying to unlock things takes forever because every lock's basically 2 Fallout locks in one, which is very, very tedious. But I noticed after dozens of them, the sweet spots are almost always in the same spots. It's not like Skyrim or Fallout where the sweet spot can be anywhere. In this game, it's always in one of the 8 cardinal directions. So up, down, left, right, and then the diagonals. Basically your D-pad in these locks. Once you notice that, wow, does it become way easier. Because you can just basically cycle between those 8 directions on each thumbstick, and you'll open the lock pretty quick. Another nice thing about these locks is they don't get harder. Level 1 locks are as easy as level 3 locks, so you never have to mix up your strategy. You just stick to the 8 direction thing, and that's that. And number 3 is how to solve riddle doors in Hogwarts. There are these weird doors covered in symbols all over the place in Hogwarts, and they can be pretty baffling until you figure out what you're supposed to do. Once you figure out the trick, they're pretty easy to solve, but until you do, they can be quite frustrating. So if you don't care about figuring this stuff out for yourself, I'll just tell you. That's right, Game Bird to the rescue. You're welcome. All right, when you go up to these things, there's 2 simple math problems. Usually a number, a symbol, then a question mark. Riddle is to solve for X, basically. You need to put the correct number so that the numbers on the puzzle add up to the big number. The part that makes these puzzles hard is figuring out what numbers the symbols represent. So, and once you realize that the first symbol is meant to be a 0 instead of a 1, it's actually pretty easy. So the first otter looking thing on this door, it's a 0. Next one up, 1, and so on. Some are more obvious than others, like the spider is pretty obviously 8. The 3-headed snake is 3, but others aren't so obvious, like the piece of cheese, which is, it's correlated to no numbers. It's just a piece of cheese. No, there's no piece of cheese, I'm sorry. I'm just keeping it light, guys. This puzzle solving stuff is pretty heavy, you know. Gotta keep our wits about us. Yeah, but just knowing that they all appear in order makes it easy to just count up the sides and figure out the solution. From there, you select the right symbol on the question mark blocks and the door opens. There's always a gear reward and a collection reward inside these things, so they're worth opening. You might be a little slow putting things together first, but once you learn the symbols, they're less than a minute. They never change. The only thing that changes is the math problem. Again, I made up the cheese thing. That's not real, so it's pretty straightforward. At number 2, there are 3 big Hogwarts secrets. In other words, the Hogwarts secrets would be one of the less recognizable ones from the previous point, because it's number 2. So much humor in this one, right? Anyway, hidden in Hogwarts Castle, there's 3 secret puzzles that are kind of just there. They're not part of a quest, they're not required for anything, they're just around. And if you solve them, you can earn some pretty nice rewards. First one that's possible to be solved is a bridge puzzle. This one you've probably noticed crossing the big bridge outside the Great Hall. To solve this one, you need to be able to light the brazier with the fire spell. Then you turn this mechanism to the correct number. Each pillar the braziers are on has a specific symbol. So how do you get that? Well, there's a plate on the bridge that shows you what number you need for each symbol. Okay? Once you know where the key is, it's not that hard to solve. Next Hogwarts secret, found in the clock tower. There's 4 doors with 4 different symbols on them. They all correspond to the 4 symbols in front of the clock tower pendulum. When the pendulum passes one of these symbols, the door with the same symbol on it starts to open. The trick here is you need to cast the slowdown spell when it's over one of these symbols, which stops the clock long enough for one of the doors to open. You open all 4 doors with this method, and you'll have completed the second Hogwarts secret. The final one is both the easiest and hardest. To get this one, you need to gain access to the headmaster's office, which only opens up after completing the quest for the 3rd keeper trial. Once you get into the headmaster's office, open up the level 2 lock, which leads to a stairway that leads to a level 3 lock. So, yeah, you are required to have the level 3 lock picking spell, which, yeah, Bit of a pain, but we did cover it. You know what to do for that. But you unlock that, you get into a room with a special key, take the key to the big lock in the hallway of the headmaster's chamber, unlock it, you got all 3 Hogwarts secrets. Why would you do this? Great treasures, great rewards. That's all I'm going to say. The rest is up to you. And at number 1, how to grind experience fast. Very basic sounding point, but very necessary point. If you're at some spot in the story and it requires a certain level, but you're not there, what are you gonna do? Well, you could do side quests and hunt around for field guide pages, but that's not the most fun thing in the entire world. Fighting actually is pretty good in this game, to the point where grinding is actually enjoyable. Like Jake said in the Before You Buy, it's very much like a Warner Brothers open world game here, and combat in open world Warner Brothers games other than Gotham Knights is pretty awesome. And guess what? There's a battle arena northwest of Hogwarts. You unlock it by completing a simple puzzle, and you can fight a series of battles that's going to earn you a ton of experience very quickly, to be frank, especially if you crank down the difficulty to story mode. The game doesn't penalize you at all for doing this, and it makes the battle arena incredibly easy. You feel like a total badass who can magic the ever-loving crap out of people, and you get a bunch of experience. So yeah, go ahead, go to the battle arena, act like a being of ultimate power for 10-15 minutes, and you're gonna walk away with a few levels. If you have the Dark Arts pre-order pack, which I think was a PlayStation exclusive, it's even easier. Just find the Dark Arts arena in the Forbidden Forest, which is actually right near the entrance of the forest if you're entering from the road to Hogwarts. It's in the southern part. You can grind out in an arena challenge where they just give you all the Dark Arts powers for free. That includes the instant kill spell, which makes the whole thing pretty easy, even on normal. And all the battle arenas are completely repeatable, so you don't have to care about hunting around for field guide pages to level up. And by the way, doing that's probably the easiest way to level up if you're playing the game normally. And that's much more tedious than the battle arenas, even if you're cheesing them. Haha, cheese. Second mention of. Right at the end here, though, right? So, leave us a comment. What's your favorite kind of cheese? No, preferably talk about the game. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.